Entrepreneurs Network. It's now 20 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Keith Levenstein, the CEO of EconoBEE, as in BEE. Keith, once again, welcome.
Good evening, Tony. Thank you for having me back.
Now, we spoke about your business when you first came to the Entrepreneurs Network, as it says, BEE, and how to manage that, how to, find out what you need to know to be in line with the regulations and so on and so forth. But one of your questions is the call for an ombudsman to handle BEE complaints and interpretations. That's something you want to talk about this evening.
Yes, it is, Tony. BEE is quite a new law. So there's simply not enough case law, there's not enough information or knowledge around in order for various companies to make interpretations, for consultants, for verification agencies to interpret the BEE codes as they need to be done. So we end up getting a huge or total lack of standards.
Yeah, and also I would imagine lots of questions that you say, well, actually, I can't really, I can try to find out for you, but I don't. So what you're saying is, and other people maybe are saying, well, isn't there a place where we can go where this can be debated, where this can be addressed, to a panel or whatever?
That's exactly what we want. If you think of the verification industry, there are 26 companies. Each of them have a completely different interpretation of the codes. You can end up getting a verification from two different companies and finding yourself 10, 15 points difference between two different companies.
Really?
It really is as bad as that. Depending on how you approach a particular issue, it can be completely different.
So what you're saying is the way the scorecard is applied, it's interpreted in different ways by companies that are supposed to be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And it can be that far apart.
There's this huge discrepancy. There's supposed to be standards, and we're supposed to be standardized. And B is quite an important aspect, and your scorecard is really important to various companies. If one company gets himself 50 points, another one gets 30 points, the one with 50 is more than likely to get the business, everything else, of course, being exactly the same. And depending on which agency you choose, or depending on which interpretation you use, you can virtually get that huge differential.
Is it not possible that some people advising businesses on their scorecard are just a bit smarter in terms of interpreting or describing what that particular client does and why they should be eligible?
Yeah, that obviously is the case. In our particular situation, we've been called in by various companies to look at their scorecard, and in many cases we have found that they were undercounted by, again, this 10, 15, in one case 23 points. We could say we're smarter, but in all seriousness, we would like to see some form of standards.
To make it a fairer system.
To make it so much fairer to everybody.
At the moment, I mean, where can people go? They come to companies such as yours to get the facts, to hopefully get the right advice and so on and so forth. But apart from that, if they don't understand and they don't go to a company, where can they go? In which government department to get that explained?
Well, the gatekeeper of BEE is of course the Department of Trade and Industry. And there is a BEE division headed by a director of BEE, probably about 30, 40 employees in that particular division. But
and there's no one there, there's no department there where you can take your questions, or there must be, sure.
Well, we can, and we do go to that Department of Trade and Industry, ask them various questions, and they give us various answers. But we have seen the situation that we'd ask a question and they'll give us an answer, and somebody else.
So there, it's still not uniform.
No, even the Department of Trade and Industry doesn't give us the same answer at two different times. At the same time, there's an organisation called SANAS, which is the SA National Accreditation System, and they're the organisation, also part of the trade and industry, that accredits verification agencies. And once again, we think that you would think we would want to go to them and ask them questions of interpretation, and quite simply, they don't give an answer.
Okay, so, if you want to send emails with regard to this particular topic, then you just send it to Tony@ClassicFM, TONY, classicfm.co.za, and I'll pass them on. If, in the event that this idea came to be an ombudsman in this area, BEE, how long, if a local government and national government agreed to this, how long would something like that take to put together?
I don't know how long government takes to put anything together. Yeah. In theory, it shouldn't be too long. I suppose you would need to find a competent person who would obviously be a judge or a retired judge.
Okay.
The minister has a lot of discretion over interpretation, and he can, I believe, issue a notice which will appoint this particular ombudsman or adjudicator. I don't think there's difficulty in the law side of it. How long it will take him to appoint such a person and make a decision is obviously the discretion of the minister.
Given that it carries, BEE carries so much weight, the scorecard, the scenario that we spoke about, and everything, it carries so much weight, therefore it carries a lot of business for people. It's something that I think needs to be addressed quite quickly.
We love it. We think that the sooner the better. What we have noticed is the more the lack of discretion that a person has and the ability of interpretation, a lot more distressed companies become, and therefore choose not to try and implement transformation activities. They'll use this as an exact example to say, why should I do so? Because it is done so badly. And the act is good, the code itself is very good. It's just the actual practice that has tended to, I think, has fallen down. And if I may just give one example, the minister spoke in one of his notices about something called a non-accredited verification agency. And we wrote to the Department of Trade and Industry and asked them, what is the definition of a non-accredited verification agency? And their answer was, although there is no definition of a non-accredited verification agency, it is precisely an agency that is not accredited.
Okay.
Which doesn't give me any more information than what I originally asked for. So we asked SANES, who are the agency that accredits these companies, and they came back and said, you must use the definition that the Department of Trade and Industry have given you. So right now I don't know what a non-accredited verification agency is, and this can make a huge difference in calculating a scorecard on the technical side of things, and it revolves around in one particular case around about 11 points on a scorecard simply because we don't know the definition.
Yeah. How many people in your business are saying what you're saying? How many people are there out there that advise in the field of BEE that would like to see this happen?
I've received quite a lot of support from various companies, including verification agencies. They also are, to a large extent, at the whim of Trade and Industry or SANES. So a lot of companies are asking for it, or have simply given me some type of support to say that it does make sense that we get some form of a standard, and somebody, I don't mind who it is and I don't mind what their decision is, as long as we're all on an equal playing field and we know exactly what the agency is going to come up with, and the points that anybody deserves to get is exactly what they get.
Okay, Keith, well, we'll keep an eye on this. Give us some feedback, would you? We'd like to know, obviously, what happens with your idea, and then maybe the groundswell will get there, and we'll have an answer to it quite soon. Keith Levenstein, the CEO of EconoBEE here on the Entrepreneurs Network. Thank you, Keith, for being here.
Thank you, Tony.
Cheers.
I'm Fiona Budd, and I look forward to welcoming you to another program of B-BBEE this Saturday evening from 6 till 7. This week we'll be listening to music from the ballet, The Tales of Beatrix Potter, which was arranged by Sir John Lansbury and debuted as a delightful film in 1971. And we'll also take our usual look at what's coming up in the local dance world. So make a date to join me for B-BBEE this Saturday evening at 6, only on